Hi everybody. I am continuing with episode 6 of Bumps in the Night. I will tell you that this evening's episode is a little bit different than the others. There's not as much paranormal stuff in it. However, it is basically setting up the next few episodes that are to come. I also have started a fan page on YouTube, or on Facebook in the events section, and each week I am posting the new YouTube episodes to that event so that people that are subscribed to that event will automatically get notification that there has been a new video uploaded. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with 2009. We're kind of backtracking a little bit, but that's okay because your memory is not like a video camera or a videotape. Memory is a very interesting thing. But we're going to start with 2009, and I was still in southwestern Ohio at that point, and we talked about that a little bit last time. But I worked for a local government agency in that area, and the state and county funding was starting to teeter. It was starting to get very unsteady. Of course, I think everybody remembers in 2008 things just the bottom falling out of everything financially. The climate in the agency changed around 2007, 2008, and the possibility of layoffs in the agency was very imminent, and I was lower on the totem pole. So I applied for a job back in or near my hometown in southern Ohio, and I applied for that job in late 2010. My aunt in that area her health was failing very quickly, and I felt like I should be back home near my family at that time. I knew that she wasn't going to be around much longer. She had Alzheimer's and her dementia was beginning to get a little bit worse, but she was pretty coherent. She had been transferred to a nursing facility, and her life was changing for the worst at that point, and I knew I needed to be home. I was in Key West, and we were at the aquarium on the island for a vacation. We actually took a cruise in late 2010, and if you don't know anything about me, I am an avid cruiser. I love it. I would rather be on a ship than any place else or doing anything else. I love cruising. I feel very at home on the ocean. I just absolutely love it. I feel like I'm more centered and more balanced when I'm cruising. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's the fact that I'm sort of isolated, but I absolutely love it. And we were on a cruise, family cruise, and I received a phone call from the director of the agency that I had applied for, and we talked at length when I ported back into Miami, and we hit it off, and then I interviewed with the director and the supervisor, and it just felt right. We talked for at least 2.5 hours, not only about casework and family dynamics, but we got to know each other very well, and I felt like I had known these ladies my entire life. They very welcoming personalities, very peaceful, very tranquil. I loved them. It was a very instant connection, and they obviously felt like that also because they offered me the position as an investigator at their agency, probably about a week later. But it proved to be a double-edged sword, because moving meant that I was uprooting my son yet again, and that he would not be near his father on a daily basis. So I had his anger to deal with, my son's anger, plus the disappointment and the anger from my ex-husband, because basically he had free reign to see David whenever he wanted to. And moving would change all of that, which would also mean emotional stressors for everybody. But there were also pros to moving, which was I would be closer to family at that point. And the thing is, the pay was significantly less than what I was making, but the security of that job was priceless. It was a small agency. There was no threat of layoffs. The environment, I could tell, was going to be much more positive than where I was currently. The school district that we were moving into, I assumed would be better. And then they were able and willing to work with me for me finishing up my master's degree, because I would be flying out to North Dakota in August of 2011, and they were well aware of that. They were family oriented. It was a high stress job anyway, and they seemed to be very peaceful as opposed to where I currently was. There was just too much upheaval and too much negativity going on. I couldn't handle it anymore. So in December of 2010, we decided to settle in Southern Ohio again, and I met the most wonderful group of women that I ever could have found at this agency. I was partnered with a person who has been a very central part of my life since the day we met. We have instantly become best friends. She's more like a sister to me than she is a best friend. I depend on her. I count on her. She is, for lack of a better term, we are kindred spirits, and we have leaned on each other since the day we first met. I got to know these women, and all of them had this tremendous faith. And since my faith was gone, I was interested to listen to them speak about their faith and the power of prayer, and I kind of felt like I finally found home, and that I belonged and was accepted for whatever my belief system was, for whoever I was. They openly accepted me as almost as if we were all sisters. It was an agency of all women, and we loved each other. It wasn't this backbiting, name-calling, split division. It was a very holistic family, and I needed that. They got me through some very intense times. But there was also a negative twist, because I was headed back to court to basically argue over the visitation of my son. It just seemed like no matter how hard I tried, something always stole my peace, my money, my joy. Something was always there to steal it, whether it was inside my own household or whether it was outside influences. However, in February 2011, I felt settled enough to buy another home. I had lost a previous home in bankruptcy, and I felt like I had enough footing at that time to establish myself in this community. And I bought a home that I am very proud of and that I love beyond words. I finally felt like I had found my place in this world, despite the fact that I had no spiritual faith and I was questioning absolutely everything. In August 2011, I flew out to North Dakota and finished my master's degree, where I met more wonderful people. Three in particular that I sort of hung with the entire time that we were there. My husband did go out with me, but I found three wonderful women that I sort of gravitated towards, and we had a really good time when we were out there, and I think about them a lot. We still communicate through Facebook. In fact, two of them, actually all three of them, are just wonderful, wonderful women. And we were not partnered up for our projects, but we had a project in the last 2 weeks of our graduate practicum, and we were given project topics. We were assigned by number, so it was very random, and I did the write-up for the presentation and actually presented the material, because I'm not afraid of crowds, and I'm not afraid to get up in front of people and talk. I've done it ever since I was small. It doesn't intimidate me. Yeah, I have nerves and I get anxiety every now and then, and my heart will start beating fast and I'll start out very shaky, but eventually I'll be okay. It doesn't bother me to get up in front of people to do anything. However, I do not strip, so I've never done that. But on a more humorous note, I will not strip down in front of people. I do not do pole dances. So anyway, if we're talking about teaching or presenting, yeah, I can do that, or even singing or dancing or whatever. I've just done that all my life. Not exotic dancing. I did the write-up, and what the presentation was about was the aftermath of 2 rape victims. And we needed to analyze post-traumatic stress disorder compared to like rape syndrome. And when we were done, there were several people after the presentation that said, you should write a book. Because I presented it in a very characteristic fashion from both characters' perspectives of what they lived through for their rape and how they lived after that, and what basically I left it up to the audience as the jury to decide whether someone was going to end up being guilty or not for doing this to these women. The first was an abductee from a mall parking lot. The second victim was date raped at a fraternity party. Which brings me to my first novel, The Fine Line. I started working on it again diligently when I got out of graduate school. My friend that I talked about that I met at the agency, who I'm still very close to, she was the first person to see the manuscript, and she encouraged me to seek out publication. She said, this is phenomenal, you need to get it published. Of course, she's my best friend, so at that time I thought, you know, you're a little bit biased because you love me and you think everything that your best friend does is awesome. So I did seek out publication, but something did not feel right in the book. The book originally was premised off of a fundamentalist religious perspective of solving problems and dealing with paranormal activity, but I felt like the writing was empty because I didn't personally believe in the fundamentalist forte anymore, the premise of fundamentalist beliefs. In April of 2011, my aunt did pass away. She passed away on my birthday, ironically. And I had never grieved over anyone like that, ever. And I had lost grandparents and my favorite uncle, and this felt different. In my mind, her death was done. It was final, and I would never see her again. And that haunted me, because I didn't believe there was life after this. I had been under chiropractic care just because, not because I felt like I needed it, but because I felt like it was the healthy thing to do, and I had good insurance, so it would pay for it. And the physician that I found was phenomenal. I found out about him from the director of our agency, and I noticed that after my aunt's death, I began experiencing a lot of depression, and I already had anxiety, and it worsened. I cried over nothing. I felt lost. I felt broken. But I did not want the intervention of traditional medicine and antidepressants. And because my chiropractor was also a holistic physician, I sought his help first. And I started down a journey of an internal health. I had already lost enough weight to suit me, but I knew that inside I was still damaged and that I needed help because it was very dark. I was having panic attacks. Whenever I would think about dying and leaving my loved ones behind, I would automatically go into an anxiety attack and a panic attack, or this deep depression. And what I found is that I needed stability from vitamins and minerals to help me get back on track. I had lots of neurochemical issues that were going on, and this physician introduced me to vitamin and mineral therapy. And within a week, I could tell a difference in my outlook, in my attitude, in the way I felt. I felt healthy again. I felt better. And the thing is, I was eating healthy. It wasn't a matter of my diet. It was a matter of the fact that for 36, 35 years, I basically needed to reprogram my body and detoxify it. I had had 3 ear surgeries, a gallbladder surgery. I had not been good to my body. And that needed to, basically we needed to push the reset button, which is exactly what happened with this holistic physician. As of right now, that's where I'm going to leave everything. I know it's kind of a cliffhanger sort of episode, but it's going to set up the rest of the journey through my autobiographical look at the paranormal. So again, I want to thank you for tuning in and wish you love and light wherever you are in this world. And once these episodes are over, we have, let's see, we're on number 6, so we have 4 more Bumps in the Night episodes to do. Once that's over, we're going to open it up to you for topic discussion, and we're going to work from there. So again, thank you again for your support and consistently viewing these. I encourage you to share this with anybody that you feel would benefit from any of these episodes. Again, you can contact me directly through my website. It's traceeford.com. Otherwise, wherever you are in this world, have a great day, have a great evening, and love and light to you. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.